Good morning. It's Friday, September 19th, 2025. My name is Terry Morgan. We're here to practice Wudang Qigong. I'm going to move this chair out of the way because I forgot to do that. So I'm going to do that right now. One more. There we go. Hey, if it's not in the frame, it's not here, right? This morning, we're going to work on applications for Wudang Qigong, and we're going to pay attention to set 6, 7, and 8 in the Wudang Qigong series. So set 6 is push, and I'm going to slow this down. Okay, this push, turning palm, ward off, pull down. These three sets also appear in Wudang Taiji. In that context, I'm also going to be paying attention a little bit to applications for each of these moves. The idea of applications has two parts. One part is the outward, whatever it is that I'm connecting with. The other part is what I'm doing internally, as well as how I'm using my hands, what I'm doing with my hands, and the energy that goes behind them. That part of application is something that is frequently overlooked. It's considered advanced, and the focus for a lot of application, quote unquote, right, is this movement to do this thing to achieve this result. Yeah, okay. I can use palm energy behind this move. It's not the name of the move. It's called turning palm. But I can use that palm, which is a combination of push away and push out. So it's not down, it's out. On is push down. This distinction matters in what we're doing internally. It matters in the idea of the physics of the movement. This is hard physics. The direction of force and the application of force is fundamentally geometry and physics, mass dynamics and geometry. That angle, the angle of force, how much force I need to use to do what, is part of what we pay attention to in all of the applications. Developing the skill to apply that force is one of the things that we do in practice, and it's one of the things that Wudang Qigong in particular is very good at. It's because of the overlap between what we're doing in Tai Chi Chuan, boxing, and Qigong, breathing exercises. That combination is, it's pretty impressive in the canon of martial arts teaching and what we learn. In a lot of cases, the Qigong exercises are one thing and the other practice is another. Not in this case. All right, let's get started. Feet about shoulder width apart. Foundations, feet about shoulder width apart. Bend the knees, open the hip, drop the hip, open the lower back, pull up through the center. The center pulls up. Arms are open at both sides. Wiggle the fingers, wiggle the toes. Smile. Hand circle to the front. Back around to both sides. Up along the center line. Stretch out over the legs. Bend through the hip, not through the waist. Roll up. Don't lift, roll. Again, reach out. Roll up through the spine. One more. Stretch out. Keep the shoulders down as you stretch the arms out. Elbows drop down. Wrists, fingertips, hands return to your sides. It's important to pay attention to rolling here. So start here and roll up. Don't start here and try and lift up. That rolling motion helps to open the spine. It gives us more flexibility, and it works the front, it works the abs to pull in so that you can roll up. That distinction in how we do the movement, what we're doing behind the movement, makes all the difference in developing flexibility and opening the hips. Opening the hips is important for any low work that we're going to do. I'm not going to do a lot this morning, but I will show a couple of things here in just a second. So this idea of opening the body, doing some basic stretch. I just open my shoulders. Before we get started is essential. We have to do something to warm up. There's not a fixed requirement for what we do, but there has to be something. This series, this very simple series of circles, is one that I learned many years ago, and I found it to be the most comprehensive thing that I can do to warm up. It hits everything. So, with that in mind, doing that simple movement correctly, and then doing it well, increasing how much flexibility you can have, how much flexibility you gain. This stretch up. As you reach out, hold through the legs, bend the knees, bend through the hips, stretch through the back of the legs, and then roll up. Being able to do that, I'm pretty happy that I can still do that. I am. I'm very happy I can still do that. This is one of the things that we have as a benefit, a long-term benefit from practice. That idea that after 40 years-ish, 30 years, I've been practicing Tai Chi for 40 years. Wudang Qigong I've practiced for about 30, a little over maybe. That idea that long-term practice, it's a simple stretch. I will wager, I will, that there are many people who cannot do that stretch to the extent that their hands are flat on the floor. What happened? Tai Chi, Qigong, doing this particular stretch repeatedly for, I don't know, 40-odd years. That's what gives us the ability. It's not, oh, well, I just learned this and now I can do it. Practice. Paying attention to what we're doing in practice. More than just this movement. I've talked about that already. and paying attention to what we really would like to accomplish, what we would like to have. Big part of practice is continual development of the external and internal connections. Those connections give us greater ability to move and continue to move as we grow. Physical capability, that physical capacity to continue to do things, is one of the traditional goals. Preserving the, I don't know how to say it, 对身体非常好. The whole body, 身体, is treated very well, right? That idea, that notion that we want to have as much flexibility, as much capability of movement as we possibly can for as long as we can, is one of the foundation elements in the traditional studies. That's why we practice. All right. Wudang Qigong, push. Breathe in. Breathe out. Shift. I shifted onto my right, bent the right knee, turn the left toes, hands come up along the center, and press out. Return. Palms turn up, and come back to center. Sink. I'm going to shift to the left, turn the right toes, hands come up, chest high, push, and return to center. As I'm moving, we're going to do this slowly 3 times, and then I'm going to open it up. As we're moving, pay attention to connecting the breath. Pay attention to the slow and even pace of the movement. Pay attention to the rhythm of the body as we move. Feet about shoulder width apart. Stand straight. Palms up. Fingertips point out. Chest high. Press down. Sink. Open the hip. Bend the knees. Shift. I shifted to my right. You shift to your left. Turn the toes. And push. Don't overextend. Don't underextend. Movement should be full and complete. Turn the toes. Push. Come back to center. And shift. Turn the toes. Push. Keep the shoulders down and relaxed. Stay centered. Smile. Breathe in. Breathe out. Last time. Push. And breathe in. Breathe out. Shift. It's a combination of 2. Center. Hands down along both sides. Pull up through the crown of the head. Raise the heels and lower. Stay there. Breathe in. And breathe out. We can do this again. A little bit more physical effort. All right. Same idea though, that as we're moving, we're paying attention to the breath and we're paying attention to coordinating the breath with the movement. Feet about shoulder width apart. That'll grow. That'll grow. Relax, pull up through the crown of the head, shoulders down. Pull in through the center, pay attention to the lower Tantian. Breathe in. And breathe out. I'm going to shift to my right. You go to your left. Sink. And push. Set the legs. Sink. Shift. Turn the toes. Push. And come back to center. Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. One more time. Full set. Breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. Press down on both sides. Pull up through the crown of the head. Raise the heels and lower. Stay there. Breathe in. Breathe out. One more time. Breathe in. And breathe out. All right, you notice my foot position there. Got wider, didn't it? In working this set to develop strength for the application of push. Hum. Hum. That upward and outward force drives from the back leg through the whole body. If your arms are up here, you can't do it. If you're down here, it's a different move. It's here. Center. Right here. Right here. Okay. Set the wrist. Drop here. As you push out, use the back of the arm here, I should have paid attention to more attention to my anatomy terminology in preparation for this class. So pay attention to the arm muscles here, right here on your forearm. As you drop the elbow, drop the wrist. This should all be working as you extend outward. The force comes from here, right here, lower Tantian, and back here in the lower back. Beneath this, just beneath the shoulder blades as you push out. For the legs, the working leg is the back leg, right? So as we push out, this back leg is working to do the push. Front leg sets down and in so that you don't do this. No, that's not push. And that will hurt your knee. Don't do it. Okay, when you extend, the knee goes up to the toes. It doesn't go beyond the toes. The more you press out beyond the toes, the more you need to be sinking so that you don't. That overextension is something that we have to pay attention to. There are movements where it's the knee is going to go a little more over the toe than otherwise, but this basic rule, the knee goes up to the toe, not past it. Okay? You don't want this. You don't. It puts too much pressure on the knee And that's not a place that in your body that you want to put a lot of pressure. It's not the strongest place. It's really not. The back of the leg right here is the strongest muscle in your body. So use that one. Don't use the knee. This muscle pulls up and in to hold the leg. This is the one that works. Same here in the back of the calf. That's the one that's working to push out and push down as we move. Let's do this again. Set of 3. Pay attention, and I'm going to go a little bit lower. Pay attention to how the upper body works. Pay attention to how the lower body works. And then we'll pay attention to the coordination between the two parts, the upper body and the lower body. Breathe in. Breathe out. Shift to the right. Open. Push. Pull in. Center. Shift. Turn the toes. Push. Pull in. And center. Shift. Turn the toes. From underneath. Come back. And center. Shift the weight. Turn the toes. Push. Come back. And center. One more time. Push out. Use the leg. Use that back leg. Come back in. Shift. And center. Hands down along both sides. Pull up through the crown of the head. Raise the heels and lower. Stay there. Breathe in. And breathe out. That lift through the heels and lowering helps to circulate the chi through the large heavenly circle. It also helps us to reset posture, position, everything that we have done in the exercise returns to the beginning. It comes back to that centering and that natural, feet about shoulder width apart, posture. In this case, I was here when I stopped, right? So, little bit, raise the heels. No, I'm not trying to go up on my toes. I just raise it a little bit and drop it down. And then come back. That helps us to, again, reestablish the beginning where we were when we started. And that idea, the return to the beginning, that we start something, we do it, and then we finish it, and as we're finishing it, we go back to the beginning. That is something that we have in all of the martial arts. Each of our forms goes back to the beginning. Wherever it was that you started, that's where you end up. Footwork matters. Being able to go through a series of movements and end up in the same place that you started is a discipline that we want to cultivate. If your footwork is even and well placed, you will return, you will be able to get back to wherever it was you started. If your footwork is uneven, if your steps are sometimes little, sometimes bigger, sometimes this big, sometimes that big, sometimes just a little, sometimes just a little, it's uneven, right? It's very uneven. We don't want that. Regardless of which art you're practicing, your stepping methods should be solid, well controlled, So it's not an accident that that's where you put your foot. Okay. If you're and that goes double if you're bringing the leg down. Okay. So if I'm going to do this, right? If I'm here and I decide I'm going to put my foot down, great. That's what I'm supposed to do. If I'm here, falling is not, no. Being able to maintain balance matters. It also matters that I can decide what I'm going to do with this. What do I want to do with this? I can wheel it around up here. I can put it out here. Put it over here. Over here. Okay. Right? That control is something that we want to work toward. We want to develop. So as we're practicing, paying attention to the physical movements, what can I do with this movement? What am I doing in this movement? Paying attention to the internal part. What am I doing with this movement, right? What is the direction of force? What is the direction of energy? How much force am I going to apply? A little bit, right? Quite a bit more, actually, but it didn't look like it. And this would be the one that does look like it. All right? That capability, that distinction, is something that we want to cultivate, we want to develop, so that regardless of what you are doing, you can decide how you're going to do it. You develop your practice according to those decisions, and you have the tools in your practice to continually develop as you have decided you're going to go do. That decision comes from what you're learning. It comes from your internal desire to learn. What do you want to learn? What are you practicing for? What's your goal? Long-term goal, I want to be able to move like I'm 20 when I'm 90. Yeah, maybe. Don't know. We'll work on it. I'm not there yet. Well, I have to work on it a few more years. All right, that idea of preserving youthfulness, preserving the capacity to move, and developing skills that can be used for self-defense if necessary is part of, not all of it, it's part of what we're doing. Another part is that judgment, and I talked about this previously, of when do I do this? What am I doing? When do I do it? Is it appropriate for me to, and I'm going to use this with the idea of push, but I'm just going to use my outer arm. Suppose I'm in a crowded area and I'm just standing like this. And somebody gets a little bit too close to me. If it makes me that uncomfortable, I just pushed them away. I didn't use the physical idea of push. I used the internal idea. Go away. Go this way. Go there. That appropriate use, right? I wasn't being overly aggressive. I was simply asserting, this is my arm, this is my space. My personal space extends through my body. Okay? In a lot of cultures, my personal space might be here. In other places, my personal space is about that much. All right. And I'm not going to say whether I'm comfortable or not with either one. I tend to spend a lot more time further away than close up. But that idea that, all right, this is what's to be expected in a crowded space, I'm still going to assert that my body is my space. All right, that okay, that's it. If I need to move away, from using hum in a situation where I might be I'm going to say it is because I don't know that it would happen, but I might be physically attacked. The chances of that are small. I can talk about that at length in another class, but if that was to happen, the chances that I would particularly use that move, a little iffy. I might use it in tournament, might, but the setup and the dynamic for that particular move, unless I'm in a fight, which I would not want to be in a fight, it's going to be done. That movement, no, but I might do that. Same movement, but the focus is on extending my internal energy, not opening the physical body. And again, that distinction, I'm paying attention to the internal energy. I'm paying attention to the external use of force. I'm paying attention to the internal use of force. I'm paying attention to which muscles are engaged so that I can execute that particular movement with the force that I intend. Being able to make those decisions comes from practice. It comes from understanding your own body, how you move, what's going on here, right? Up, around, out. Same movement. It's up, around, and out. But it's much smaller and it's more internalized. Both are correct. Both are correct. Both are the same application. But they look very different, don't they? All right. That level, this movement, beginner level. The push, both sides. Beginner level. Okay? That's beginner level. The movements are static. They're correct, but they're static. They're broken. They're pieces. It's not a big continuous movement. I got this movement, I got this movement, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this. Right? It's beginner level. Intermediate level. The movements are smoother. There's better coordination. There's a relaxation in the movement. So I'm not so much thinking about, I'm going to do this and I'm going to do this. It's, I know what I'm doing and I'm doing it, right? More advanced level. I'm going to go to, I'll go to 4. Third, more advanced with the breathing. Breathe in, breathe out. Right? The connection between the breath and the movement is there. The movement is smooth, complete. Not quite yet. With the application, breathe in, using the Dantian, using the Qi, using the breath to extend. That idea, step by step, each level, beginner, intermediate, advanced, more advanced, has its own characteristics, has its own sensibilities. They're all the same. I did the same movement each time. What I added was the workmanship, the internal work. 功夫, 内家功夫, 内功, internal workmanship, 内功, that gives the movement a characteristic and a clarity in application that's not there otherwise. I do this one more time. First time, we go this side and beginner level. Second time, right side, the more advanced level. Beginner, more advanced. Paying attention to that distinction is something that we can use to develop our own skills. So, how close am I? Which am I closest to? Am I still working on the movements? Right? More movement repetition. Am I trying to focus on the internal energy? Basic standing practice. Or the first set in Wudang Qigong. As simple as possible so that you're paying attention to the internal work, the internal circulation, not the external. Paying attention to developing my physical body. Do I want to become stronger? Do I want to? Most of the time the answer is yes, but it's not necessary to work extensively on the physical level in order to do the exercises. I just demonstrated that. It depends on what we want to do. What have we decided? What have I decided I want? I still want the little bit more bigger movements. I still have a couple things that I want to do, so I'm going to work on that. I also want to cultivate a lot more that internal energy so that as I'm working on any of the movements, any of the exercises that I'm working on, that my internal workmanship, Nagel, becomes stronger, and that my physical body becomes more capable through those movements. It's practice. It's not magic, it's practice. My physical body becomes more capable of doing what I decide I would like it to do. Those decisions are part of why we practice at all. I want to do something. I want to get better at something else. I want to go swimming. I want to get better at playing basketball. I want to get better at, in my case, Tai Chi and Chinese martial arts. I appreciate all of you being here today. I appreciate all the folks who tuned in and may tune in later. I will be back tomorrow with some more of the philosophy behind the martial arts and the idea that we want to pay attention to all sorts of things that have nothing to do with movement and everything to do with the arts. Thank you for being here. Bye.